Okay, in this video, we are going to start getting into more difficult cases, and now we have to factor out the GCF. So this is something that you're gonna have to know, and so the more you practice with this, the better you're gonna be. So I would just do an endless practice of factoring out GCFs over and over and over. Maybe just doing practice another version and just practicing multiple times because this is gonna be something that's very important. So I want to show you how you can factor out GCF from example number 1 here in the activity, which is 3x plus 15. Okay, so the first thing you gotta do is find GCF of the two terms. So what are the terms? Well, you got the 3x and you got 15. So first we deal with the numbers. So I have a 3 and I have 15. What do they share? What factors do they share? Well, 3 just has 1 and 3. It's a prime number, no other factors. 15 has more factors, but the only factors that they share, the largest one would be 3, right? So hopefully you already get that by now. So that means that 3 is going to be there. As far as the variable goes, there is a variable x in the first term, but there is no x in the second term, so that means they don't share anything at all. So the GCF of 3x and 15 is just going to be 3. So what you will have to do is factor that GCF out. Okay, so we're going to take the 3 out, and then we're going to see what happens. Okay, so what do we mean by 3 out? Well, if you take 3 out of the product 3 times x, what will you have left? So you basically think of like, okay, I'm crossing out the 3. I don't have a 3 anymore. What's left? Well, that's an x. So you put that over here. The sign, the plus over here, that's going to stay exactly the same. So signs don't change. Now 15, I'm going to take out 3. I'm trying to factor out 3 from 15. Well, I have to know 15 is 3 times 5, right? Okay, so if I take out the 3, so imagine just crossing it out, what would be left? Well, that would be 5. So that's going to be what you have over here. All right, so let me do another example of factoring out the GCF. So let's say you have 2x squared plus 8x cubed. Okay, and you want to factor out the GCF. Okay, so what do you do? So first of all, you decide as far as the numbers, what's GCF of 2 and 8? Okay, so 2 is a prime number. It only has a factor of 1 and a 2. That's it, and nothing else. And 8 also, of course, has a factor 1, but it also has a factor 2, right? And that in a 4 and an 8. Okay, so if you look at the common factors that they share, the largest one would be a 2. So 2 we're going to factor out. And also, when you're looking at the variables, remember how you would take the smaller of the two powers? Okay, and so that's what I'm gonna get. So 12x squared, I'm gonna factor out. Okay, and then what's gonna be left? Okay, so let's take a look at each term. So 2 I factor out, cross that out. X squared I factor out, cross that out. So it seems like there's nothing left, but it's not nothing. You can't put 0. Okay, because remember you are multiplying. If you put 0, if you multiply anything by 0, you get 0. So that's not good. But you can always multiply by 1. So if there is like nothing left, it doesn't mean it's 0. It means it's 1. Okay, so this is going to be 1. Okay, plus. Now let's see what happens with 8x cubed. Okay, so here we have to think. So first of all, we're taking 2 out of 8. So we get 2 multiplied by what is 8? Well, that would be 4, right? So if I take 2 out, what's left is 4. So 4 is going to be there. Okay. Now to figure out what is going to happen with x, I basically have to subtract the powers. So if I took out x squared and I had x cubed, what would be the difference between the two? What is 3 minus 2? Well, that's 1, right? So that's going to give you x to the power 1. Okay, so like these powers, the 2 and a 1, have to add up to a 3 that was the original power. Okay, so now I usually would not have to put x to the power 1, so that would be your final answer. That would be just 1 plus 4x. Okay, now let's look at maybe like one more example, and then I guess you guys are gonna have to practice by yourselves. So let's say we have on the third example, we have to factor out 5x to the 5 minus 25x, and we want to factor out GCF. Okay, first we have to find GCF. So 5 and 25. Let's see what they share. Okay, so 5 shares a 1. what factors they share. So 5 has a factor of 1 and it also has a factor of 5, right? Okay. Nothing else because it's a prime number. Okay, 25 for 1, yes, 5, yes, and actually 25 and nothing else. Okay, so you can check and see that those are the only factors of 25. So now if I look at what they share, looks like the largest factor they share is a 5. So that's what I'm going to take out. So the 5 is going to be here. Okay. Next, I have to decide, okay, what about the x's? So this is going to be x to the power 1, and that's x to the power 5. So let's see if we can compare them. And so when we factor out the GCF, we always take the smaller of the two powers. So that would be x to the power 1, right? So for now, I'm just going to put to the power 1 so we don't get confused. And then we have to decide like what to put in parentheses. Okay. So when you take out 5x, what will be left? So first of all, 5 you take out, so that's gone. X to the 5 and x to the 1, compare the powers and subtract them. So I have 5 and 1, the difference is a 4, so that would give you x to the 4, right? Okay, then the minus stays minus. So if this is a minus, this is a minus, okay? The 25, I'm taking 5 out. So 25 is 5 times 5. If I take 5 out, so cross that out, I have one more 5 left. Okay, now what is going to happen out of x to the 1? Well, x to the 1 and compare that with this x to the 1. So when you subtract the powers, that's 0, right? So we don't have anything else. So that's really our final answer. So the only thing I'm going to do is just put 5x, and then I have x to the 4th minus 5, and that's going to be my final answer.